Stop allowing people's bondage story to become your story. All right. We have so many things that we are going to talk about today. But first, I want to say thank you for being here. I am Tamara Tamu, bringing you another channeled message on the Unleashed Alchemy YouTube channel. I see you new subscribers coming through. Thank you for joining us fellow magicians and alchemists that are here. You are welcome, because on this channel we talk about going against the grain so that we can walk fully in our spiritual power, in our spiritual gifts, with complete confidence and freedom. So thank you for being here. Let's get into this episode because we have a lot to discuss. So first, before I get into the bondage part, okay, before I get into what I'm talking about as far as that is concerned, let's cover something. Standing firm in your I am power. So what does that mean? It means to stand firm in the image of higher consciousness. To stand firm in your goddess power, your God power, your cosmic self power, the infinite intelligence power, whatever you want to call it. Choose whatever phrase or phrases that feel comfortable to you. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So, what does this standing firm in your higher consciousness, in your, what I like to call standing firm in your I am power? You know, you may not fully understand, but you just have a knowing that says you can turn water into wine. Speaking of water into wine, I actually have a workshop inside of the Magic School that is called Turning Water into Wine. If you have not enrolled in the Magic School, please check it out. It is filled with channeled messages from my own experience on my spiritual odyssey that I have been guided to share with you, and it will support you on your spiritual odyssey. The link to check out the school is in the description box of this video. Let's keep going. Also, standing firm in your I am power, in your higher consciousness, means that you know, again, you don't have to understand it, but you know that you carry a multiplication factor. What is a multiplication factor? That you have the power to multiply every single thing that is good in your life, including money. And I mean all good, okay? All perfection, all good. So now, people often ask this question. I see it, I hear it, so let's deal with it. Well, how do I stand firm in all of that? How do I stand firm in that conviction? How do I stand firm in my I am power when it seems as if I am surrounded by people that are still rooted in programming, religious programming, societal programming, family programming that affects communication? Okay? How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I stand firm in my I am power and when my external environment looks completely different than what I know that I have been shown by my elevated guides? How do I stand firm in my higher consciousness? Does that mean that I ignore what is in front of me in my physical reality? So, the question that I want to focus on is, how do I stand firm in my I am power when I am surrounded by people rooted in programming, who have not yet surrendered to the fact that there is a higher mind, that there is a God mind, that there is infinite intelligence, that yes, it's out there, but most importantly, we are it. It is inside of us. It flows through our veins. It settles somewhere in our bodies. For some of us, we can feel it in our heart. From some of us, we can feel it in our gut. It doesn't matter. But we know, most importantly, first and foremost, we are not separate from it because it is us. All right? So as we answer that question, our observations are going to apply to those other questions that we just reviewed as well. The first thing we need to know and get and understand, overstand, whatever, however you want to put that, is that when we fully embrace our spiritual odyssey, Opportunities will arise in our external world, okay, that will create, let's say it'll create the red carpet, okay, for our higher consciousness, for Christ consciousness, for Goddess power, God power to be completely expressed through us. Through us first, all right? So, in order for this to happen, for this power to be expressed through us, it means we have to go beyond our normal senses. It means that we have to allow our intuition to be at the forefront, to be our focus first. In order, there is a quantum shift that has to take place internally for us to allow that. So, in order for the quantum shift to take place, we have to be willing to go against the grain of what is deemed to be normal. And this is where that, I don't want to call it resistance, but this is where sometimes that conflict can occur with when you are around people who have not yet surrendered to a higher way of thinking, being, living, doing, speaking, acting, the whole nine. All right. So let's keep talking about the external environment. So if you see things happening that are less than ideal in your external world, you will have people that are more than willing to tell you what you should do based on fear, based on what they would do, or maybe even based on what they have done, perhaps in a similar situation. Yet, because you now see with the lens of spirit, your intuition is telling you that advice, while it may be wrapped up real pretty, that advice does not belong to you. In fact, while the person giving the advice means well, they are projecting their bondage story on to you. So they took certain steps to perhaps get out of whatever situation they were in, but because of programming, they could not see any other way. So their way, it could have worked for them. It may have been practical for them, but that does not mean that it is practical for you. Programming causes a person to only consider what they are accustomed to or what makes sense to their limited ego. And here's the deal. Here's a side note. All ego is limited until we put the ego in its place. Well, what is the ego's place? The ego's place is to serve our soul. That's when the ego benefits us, when it's put in its place to serve our soul mission. Many times that is not going to look logical or practical for people who are still operating from a programmed lens. All right? Programming keeps a person in an identity, and it keeps the nervous system built up in a way that only considers what they can see with their physical eye, what has happened in the past, what their family is used to doing, what other people have done, not allowing for the cosmic self to rise and take its place. Oftentimes, what we see happening in our external environment is again for the cosmic self to be unleashed, for our rebel soul to come out and be expressed in its fullness. So how do you not allow a person's bondage projection to become your own story? So maybe it was in the past. So I'm looking down because I want to stay on track. I'm looking down at my notes. Perhaps those programming stories kept the communication going over and over and over again. So if we go back to that question, so how do we not allow a person's bondage projection to become our own story? So you focus on what you desire. It's that simple. Focus on what you desire. Many times programming, people who are coming from a place of programming, and you can always tell, and this is not, I don't say this for us to judge people at where they're at, because we all have our own path, but you know that a person is operating out of programming when they are highly focused on what is not desired. That's it. So what do? You focus on what you desire. This is what it means to stand firm in your I am power. Focus on what is wanted. I don't care what the external looks like. When you focus on what you desire, that is the alchemy that comes through, that allows for your external to match your I am power. Focusing on what you desire. Do you really think that you took up this body as a soul to ignore everything that you desire in your life right now? I don't care if you desire a life where you are traveling and you are building wealth from your travels. Do you think that that is just a desire for you to push to the side? And perhaps now, and this is just an example, perhaps now you are in a situation where it appears that there is no money coming in. And you have people that are around you saying, well, why don't you just go get a job? And you know, while that may sound practical, that may sound logical for that person, that is not practical and logical for what your soul came here to do and be and have. Because that advice is coming from a place where people are programmed to think that the only way to receive money is through a job. And they may not even telling you to go get a job that you love. It's just go get a job. Now that could be at, anybody can go get a job. That could be at Taco Bell down the street. And please do not leave me any comments. I am not talking, first of all, I'm not talking bad about Taco Bell. Actually I am talking bad about Taco Bell, because if you're still eating Taco Bell, what are you doing to your body? Side note, anyway, if you work at Taco Bell, if you work a job, I'm not judging your choice. I'm using that as an example of a programmed idea. And yes, to think that you have to go trade time to receive money is a programmed idea. And part of standing firm in your I am power is to know that you have an expression of prosperity and abundance that is natural. And yes, we're going to keep using the example of money. That is natural for you to have an abundance of money, and to be prosperous in what you do, and to be prosperous in what you desire. So it is natural for you to desire, wanting to be prosperous in your travels and building wealth by traveling. That idea came to you. That is what you exude. If you wake up every day and you say, dang, wouldn't it be nice if I want to do that. That is coming from your soul. You cannot ignore that. And you have to stand firm in that, and do not allow programmed projection stories to become yours, because it's not. And the thing is, it may not even be the story of the person actually projecting it. But because they have not allowed themselves to surrender to the higher consciousness, they're carrying on a story that doesn't even belong to them. All right, so I want to leave you with that. We're going to keep talking about this. I know I've been using a lot of examples about money. We've been talking about money a whole lot, but that is what I am guided to do at this time. I want to remind you that I've reminded you about the magic school. There are other ways that I support you on your spiritual odyssey through my one-on-one sessions. I have 60-minute sessions. Then I also have a 90-day package. I want you to check both of those options out. I also have complimentary resources that I provide to you. Check those out in the links in the links in the description box of this video. Also, my newest book, which is called Tales of a Money Maven, How Religious and Other Programming Has Fucked Up Your Money. It is a paperback book that is now available on Amazon. It is a journal type. I did it as a paperback on purpose because after you go through the story, after you go through the workbook, in the back there are over 50 questions that are designed for you to not judge your view on money, not to judge your experience that you have had up to this point on money, but is to really get you to observe any programmed stories or beliefs that you have around your money. And it's designed so that you can write easily in the book after each question. There's plenty of space. I'm excited for this book. I'm excited for you to get your hands on it. So links for all of that is in the description box of this video. So until next time, cheers.